as well, Darren. Thank you.
I think that
Darren, as you're the host, you can actually unmute people as well. Mute people.
What class is this?
Fine. Do that as well.
Click on the view button in the top. Where's the view?
Good morning, teachers, Art Victoria family. So yes, whilst we just wait for all the teachers, all the classes to log in, if you can please, if you can just click on the participants list logo, you can rename yourself to your class. So for example, we've got 9 Tolkien, 7 Zephaniah, and then in the top right hand corner, there should be a view icon, and you can click on or select the gallery function so that once I stop sharing the screen, you'll be able to see
members of parliament. Huh? Why is it working?
that, guys.
Thank you. Good morning, teachers. Good morning, students. If you can just ask all of you just to rename yourselves to your class, and if you can just mute your mics, please. Thank you.
All right.
Year 7, unit.
Good morning, teachers. Good morning, students. If we can just ask teachers if you can please, when you log in or sign in, can you please mute yourselves? And then if you can just follow the instructions that are on the slide in front of you. So if you can rename yourself to your class or your form, and you'll be able to click on the view icon in the top right hand corner, and if you select the gallery view, or the gallery function, hopefully you will then be able to see all of our speakers. Thank you. I can see there's a lot of year 7, year 8, year 9. We have some year 6 classes, year 5, year 4. Thank you for your patience, teachers and students. We'll just give it another minute or so. Yeah, we'll give it another 2 minutes just to wait for some more classes and forms to sign in. Thank you.
I need to change my name. Actually.
Good morning, all teachers or students. If I can just ask teachers to just mute themselves, and if they can just rename themselves to the class name, and we will begin at past. Okay, I make it past now. So I'll just stop sharing 1 moment. Okay, fantastic. So good morning, everyone. So good morning to all staff, students at Art Victoria Academy, and good morning to all of our guest speakers who I'll introduce in a moment. I'm Mr. Ibrahim. I am the teacher of for Tolkien. I'm also the community engagement lead for the school. And I want to welcome you all to Art Victoria Academy's first ever whole school online virtual assembly on this day that is Earth Day. A day in which we're going to be learning more about the, absolutely Mike, all the challenges, the environmental challenges that we globally face at global level and also at a local level, and looking at some of the solutions that we can go about addressing these challenges. So just some housekeeping rules. To begin with, if all class teachers, if you can just please rename yourself to your class, just so we can see the wide range of year groups that we've got. So I can see we've got years 4 to year 9. If I can also ask all class to just mute themselves and also just to turn off their cameras. And I would now like to introduce our panel of speakers. So to begin with, I'd like to start off with our guests from the University of Birmingham. So I'll just ask if our guests can just give us a little wave. So we've got Darren Cresswell, and he is from the School of Geography, Earth and Environmental Sciences, and he is joined by Anna and Katie, who are 2 PhD students, and they are experts in the field of plastics and microplastics, and they're going to be speaking to us a little bit about that later on. So welcome. Just ask all teachers just to mute yourselves, please. Thank you very much. And then, so they're going to be talking to us from the academic point of view, and then we'll also then look at some of our local community organisers.
Let me put the sound on because they've all.
So you've just seen some videos of some of our local community organisers, and we've got them here with us today. So we'll then move on to Mike Wesley and Ali Akbar from the Erdington Litter Busters and the Waste Warriors. So they're also going to be talking to us about some of their work in terms of litter picking. And then finally, we'll be talking or listening to Miss Elaine Giddens and Barry. Elaine is from the Friends of Small Heath Park, and Barry is a sports coach from MTF Coaching Academy. So thank you very much. Those are the introductions. I'd like to now move on to Miss Katie and Miss Anna, who will be talking to us a little bit about their work with plastics and microplastics. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohammed. So my name is Anna Kukkola. I'm from University of Birmingham, and I work with microplastics. So I would like to share you with this slide. So I am aware that you already know about how plastic is a big problem, environmental problem, and it's present everywhere. And that's why we have these amazing litter picks as well. So another thing that you should probably know about plastic, that it is not only the big plastic that is a problem in our environment, it's also the so-called microplastics. And those are basically when you have a plastic bottle and it is thrown out of the window of a car and it ends up somewhere. And because of the sunlight and the wind and the rain, it will start to break up into smaller pieces, and it ends up that it will break up into really, really tiny pieces that you can only see with the microscope. Now, these little pieces can have detrimental effects on actual animals and any kind of biota that comes in contact with them, because they will ingest them, and then there could be any kind of toxins in them. They can also block their intestines and slower their digestion. These microplastics can also be found in some of our healthcare products or products that we use on daily basis. Now there has been a ban about these used to be put in the face scrubs that we use or skin scrubs just to like exfoliate our skin better. And these will obviously end up in the wastewater treatment plants and then into the environment. And like I said, they do come in contact with the biota, and we know that any biota that we sample from the actual environment, we can find that they have ingested these little plastics. So they are everywhere. And next, Katie will be talking about the effects that these little microplastics can have on the biota. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. So hopefully you'll be able to see my screen in a minute. And I have...
Yes, we can see it, Katie. Thank you.
Sorry, I was struggling to unmute then. So this is an example of the animals that I work with. They're called water fleas. They're found in ponds and streams all over the world. And you can see here some of the plastic that this is eaten already. So this is technically in its gut. We can also use dyes and special lights to be able to light this up a lot more so we can see what they've eaten. And I'm really looking at what the effects are. So if the animals are eating the plastics, does that then mean that they don't have space in their stomachs, for example, to eat the healthy, nutritious food that they need to then be able to grow up and to turn into adults and to carry on like building the populations? And these guys are really important for keeping the algae populations under control. So, you know, sometimes you can see ponds and they're covered in green algae and they look really gross. These guys are really important for stopping that happening and for keeping the food web nice and balanced. So it's really important we understand what the effects of plastics are here. And this is just a really small example of the kind of effects that we might be seeing in some of the animals. And it's really important to understand this a lot more and to try and prevent this problem, which is why some of the work like the litter picks that a lot of you guys will be doing later today are really important for stopping all of these plastics from reaching these animals in the first place. That's just a really brief snapshot, and I hope that makes sense.
Thank you very much, Katie and Anna, for very informative, and it's interesting to see like how plastics can really kind of affect us at the very microscopic level. Just to remind, I've sent out a message in the chat that if students, if you've got any questions for any of our speakers today, if you can please let your class teacher or your form tutor know, and then they can privately message me. And towards the end of this session, I will have a Q&A.
So,
if I can just remind all teachers, just everyone to mute their mics. Thank you. I'd now like to move on to Mike and Ali. So they're from the Erdington Litter Busters and Waste Warriors, and they're just going to be telling us a little bit more about the work that they do with litter picking. So over to them.
Hi, Erdington Litter Busters started with just 2 people 3 years ago. There's now over 100 people going out and cleaning their streets and putting out flowers and improving the environment in Erdington and Stockland Green and 3 other wards near Erdington. I started not only about 12 months ago when I was off work for 2 months because I was on furlough, and I started going out cleaning up as part of my exercise, and that's when I met other people and joined the group. Since then, it's got very addictive, and I meet other groups, including Ali from Waste Warriors and other groups. And last September, I walked 27 miles around the 11 bus route, picking up litter, meeting other groups. We had, I think it was 30 people, 100 people, and 300 bags collected around 27 miles. So I'm so glad that you young people are interested and getting involved, and look forward to seeing you more in the future. Over to you, Ali. You're on mute, Ali.
Sorry. Hi there, guys. Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm Ali.
Yeah.
From the Waste Warriors. Thank you, Mike. Pretty much similar to Mike, I started over about a year in litter picking. You started me and my little brother Bilal, and we started based in Small Heath, closer to where your school is, and we start covering Bosley Green, Saltley, and Aston, Nechells, and we've also worked with Mike from Early Litter Busters, and we've managed to achieve like going to parks, about over 30 parks across the West Midlands. And we've met wonderful people, worked with the West Midlands Police, PC Paxton, and also with a lot of neighbours, parents, children. And our main mission is, I'll just make it brief, I don't have much time, but we'd like to obviously protect the environment. We would like to work around the grass, the ponds, also protect the wildlife. We see like sometimes species, ducks endangered, swans endangered, and also any antisocial behavior, which we work with the police with. And then also, you know, just like to make the final points that Earth Day, what you guys are doing is fantastic. It's there to improve the recycling, to reduce the waste, and also planting trees. So maybe need some adults with you on that one. And it's just it's a great thing, Earth Day. Guys, look into it, and your teachers will tell you, and anybody on this panel. And I'd like to finish off with the final quote: "Be the change you want to see in the world." Thank you, guys. All the best.
Thank you very much, Mike and Ali. Very inspirational. And now, finally, I'd like then us to move over to Elaine Giddens, who is from Friends of Small Heath Park, and Barry from the MTF Coaching Academy, who work very closely together. Thank you.
Hi, morning. It's Elaine here from Friends of Small Heath Park. Morning, everybody. Morning, children. Just a little bit about the group. It's a group of local people that has grown really over the last couple of years, with people just wanting to make a change in where they live. So it's probably the areas around where you all live. And you've probably seen groups of people out litter picking. We focus on the park, which is 144 years old, and it is 43 acres, and it's a real beautiful green urban, space in the middle of a quite built-up area. So I don't know if any of you have been there and had a little look around. It's a lovely space, and our aim is to just make it really nice for everybody. So when you go home, tell your mums and dads and your brothers and sisters about everything that you've heard today, and tell them about the positive work that's going on in Small Heath, and come along and join in with your mum and dads, but just encourage everybody, give that positive message out that there are people around trying to make the difference. You've heard from the university and you've heard from the Waste Warriors. It's a real positive move, and you're the next generation that can make that change and make that difference for where you live, and making it a beautiful place, which it is already, but we can make it more beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elaine. And over to you, Barry.
Yeah, so just following on from what Elaine said, I met Elaine around about a year ago. MTF was originally just set up for sports and coaching young children in the area. But when the pandemic hit, guys, everything closed, as you know. We all had to stay in our houses, and, we couldn't go out, we couldn't meet friends. But during the pandemic, there were some breaks, and MTF found, unfortunately, that our parks, our green spaces around the inner city of Birmingham, Small Heath being one of them, was just littered with rubbish. And that just meant that companies like MTF, who want to do something for you guys, you youngsters in the area, and improve your life through sport, we couldn't do nothing because there was far too much rubbish about it. And it didn't look very good if we was inviting people to the parks and the green spaces that we wanted to use, with tons of rubbish, and I say tons of rubbish. If you have access to Facebook, or even if you want to go on our website, if you just type in MTF Coaching Academy into Google, you can find that, and you will see that last year when we did a litter pick in Small Heath Park, we had a mountain of rubbish, guys, and that was only we only was able to collect that because of the fantastic efforts of the local community. So there are a lot of good people in your community who care about the parks, and hopefully you can follow in their footsteps and make a positive change to your community for years and years to come. And who knows, maybe one of you will be speaking to a school in the near future as a community leader of making change in the area, guys. So if you want to know more about what we do, just Google us. You'll find us on the website, on Facebook, on Instagram, and hopefully we see some of you in the green spaces doing sports and enjoying the green spaces around Birmingham because of the efforts that you make today with your litter pick. So good luck today, guys. You're doing an absolutely fantastic job.
Thank you very much, Barry. And I'd just like to take this opportunity just to thank all of our speakers for their input. And it's important to mention that they're all volunteers. So each one of them, they've got their day jobs. So for example, Barry, he's an ex-teacher himself and is a military defense police officer at the moment. But these guys are volunteering day in, day out to make our communities a better, safer, cleaner and greener place for all of us. Thank you so much for all of the questions that have been flooding in. So I'm just having a look through them at the moment. I'm going to try and group them together. So there's been a lot of questions surrounding the litter picks themselves. The first one, I think, as a general, is like, what inspired you to want to start litter picking? Like Mike just talked about that you went out for a walk, and so on, and Ali as well. It was yourself and your brother, Barry, Elaine. What inspired you guys to really want to be that positive change in your community? Whoever would like to go
I'll
first.
quickly.
Go on.
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, in my particular area, the amount of litter, as Barry said, was increased because of more people being out in the fresh air, which was great. But a lot of people didn't know or understand how they should behave with regard to taking their litter home and finding a bin that wasn't full. The council did was doing as much as they could. So rather than complaining about someone else not doing something, I decided, okay, I can do something, and that's how it really started. And it's about us all sharing in keeping everything nice and making things better.
Thank you, Mike.
I'd like to add on that. For me, it was more about, I think, I was walking with my daughter at first, and then I seen the mess, and I was complaining a lot about it. So I started with complaints. I want to do something. Then I started off with my little brother, and I said, let's just go to the park one day and let's decide to pick up things. So we had bags and gloves, and we just carried on. So it's just about, you want to be in an environment where it's nice and you can enjoy yourself, sit down in the park. You don't want to see with the overfill of bins, and I think it's just about a community. We have to get together, and I think that, especially the schools, the children today, you guys are the future of tomorrow. You guys can be, you need the parks for your sports, everything. And just as adults, we all need the greener space. So as Barry, Elaine, Mike, everybody's mentioned, it's, we all start off, want the best for the wider community.
Thank you, Ali.
Just a final point on that. Just remember, guys, if there's, just like Ali said, he wasn't happy with what he saw, so he was complaining to the council. These things do take a long time, and if you're not happy with something that's having a negative impact on your life, you have control to change that, all right? And you guys have the power to change that. Just try picking up a litter picker, all right? Ali and his brother made a massive, massive difference. So instead of just complaining, they did something about it. So you can do the same.
And just following on from that point, actually, so one of the activities that you will be doing today is you're going to be writing letters, not only just to Mrs. Court, the primary head teacher, or Miss McSorley, the principal, the authoring principal, but you're also going to be writing a letter to our local MP, Jess Phillips. And she wants to work really closely with us. She, as our local representative in Parliament, she is speaking on our behalf. So this is our opportunity to share our concerns with her, and then definitely take a positive action in that frame as well.
I think for me, it was again looking around and hearing lots of negatives about, you know, there's rubbish here, there's rubbish there, what should we do? And my sister and I just decided, actually, let's get involved and find out, you know, if you think, oh, something's not right or something isn't working, just go and investigate, find out, ask questions. And like all the other guys have said, just make that positive change, because it's easy to complain, but you know, you can then change that mindset and think, right, okay, when you've got a problem, there is a solution next to it. Always remember that, guys, because as you go through life, you'll find that. But when you've got a problem, you know, just take some time and look, there is a solution. So hopefully you'll, as I say, go home, tell your mums and dads all about what you've heard today and spread the good news.
Thank you very much, Elaine. Thank you for that as well. The next question is kind of, because Ali, when you were speaking, you talked about within Small Heath Park, talking about swans and endangered species, and like what's the negative environmental impact that has. So of course you have first-hand experience of that, but also I would also like to draw in Darren, Katie and Anna, because they can talk from an academic point of view as well in terms of the endangered species within our local environments. So Ali, if you can maybe start off first.
Yeah, sure. Firsthand when we found out through social media. So like when the local neighbors, the community, when they go into the park, you know, they want to see, you know, the wildlife, you know, in the pond or wherever we see them in the park. But then we started getting reports on endangered species, like, you know, there was a duck which died, and the photos were emerging, and it's devastating to see, and is making a lot of people sad. So first thing, what our team did was with Mike from Weddington, Little Busters, we managed to get tools, get the duck out, and try to get as much of this plastic bottles we kept seeing. A lot of waste, which is trapped in, because you're gonna go Small Heath Pond, you might see it near the Bannister side, and it's just we had to eliminate that. And then there was another report recently of a swan, which was that was also on social media. So what it is, we have to protect our wildlife, protect our protect the wildlife. It's a very important task, as much as picking up litter. But a lot of this comes with the waste, which is like they say, the Birmingham City Council puts out. So I want to make it quick. Put signs out. Don't feed the ducks. Don't feed the birds. Those messages are there for us not to feed them. So these things have an impact. Don't feed the ducks, and always take the waste with you. That is some of the ways you can try to eliminate that. But I'll let you continue. Yeah.
Thank you, Ali. Over to Darren, Katie, or Anna, if you'd like to talk about in terms of endangered species.
I'll start, and then hopefully Katie or Anna will rescue me. So I think it comes back to what Katie said about the little organisms that she studied. Sometimes if they get damaged, or if there's not the numbers of those, it means that there's not enough food for all the other bigger things. So this idea of a food web or a food chain. So, you know, small things eat plants, and then slightly bigger things eat small things. And if we take away the bottom, take away those small things, then it really undermines the ability for all the other organisms, including ourselves, in this. So it's, remember, we eat plants and we eat animals, and we rely on bees and other insects to pollinate our food crops. So you have to think of the environment as a whole interconnected thing of which we are part of. And at the minute, we're damaging bits of it a bit too quick for it to repair itself. And in terms of the endangered species, it's about having places where lots and lots of different types of things can live. So we need cleaner streams, we need bits of woodland, we need meadows where not just grass is so we can play football on it, but so where bits of it, patches of it are also left a little bit wild as well. I'm going to stop there because I know that we're all short of time.
Yeah, pretty much what Darren said. So for context, the water fleas I work with are probably about half the size of your little fingernail when they're fully grown. And they are very small and at the bottom of the food web, but they are like the primary food that a lot of fish eat. So if we wipe out the water fleas, then we knock on the food web massively. So I'm working on the plastics that we can't really see by our eye, but a lot of the larger plastics have effects on larger organisms. I know birds in particular are really badly affected because of their scavenging nature. So they tend to like pick at things in the environment. So particularly in urban areas, they tend to ingest a lot of food, and it really affects the shells in particular of their eggs. So it can basically stop bird populations because their eggs basically can't hatch because their shells are too weak to last. So it's all those sorts of effects, and not just eating it, but what are the wider consequences too. And that obviously can then lead to endangered species. That is a bit of a big issue coming forwards.
Yeah, I agree with Katie and Darren with this quite to a large degree. Don't really know if I have anything to add to this.
That's perfect. That's fine. Thank you so much. In fact, actually, Kate, you actually answered one of the other questions, because one of the questions was, why does it say not to feed the ducks in like local parks and so on? So thank you for that. Another question that's been asked quite frequently here. Have you spoken to the local businesses, takeaways? Because of course on Coventry Road, it's just littered, of course, with lots of takeaway shops and so on. And I can imagine that a big proportion of the litter waste is the plastic packaging and so on from these businesses. Have you spoken to them? What has their response been to it?
Is that for me? Yeah.
Yeah. Any.
I've spoken with the businesses. I have also said to them, they have also helped in promoting, some of the posters we put out, and the businesses, you see, they're not really to blame because they have their own commercial bins. So when they run their businesses, they put their waste in the commercial bins. It's the ones who the customers who come out and they decide to eat in the park, and then you have an overflow of bins, and then and then it just like I think what I believe is that whoever decides to eat in the park, they should take it with them if the bin's full. So it's a very simple thing. Just take the rubbish with you at home. But due to such a busy road, Coventry Road is a very busy road, and the park's right opposite. Everybody likes to sit down in the park to eat it. So then what happens is there's more bins will be more filled at a lot faster rate than a normal regular park. So Smallheath Park is a very busy park. So the council, I would say, not make it too long, but the council needs to be more quicker, I would have thought, in monitoring the overflow of bins on that particular side of the park.
Yes, some of the groups elsewhere are getting in touch with the businesses and explaining to them how they will benefit from their part of the street being cleaner than another part, because people will like to buy things from where it's smart rather than somewhere dirty, and also to put notices in the shops and stores to remind people to take their rubbish home. So that's something, the work in progress.
I think that's a really important point there, Mike, to kind of end on, is that we take our rubbish home. And I think that's something that we can all learn from, especially our youngsters here, the students here. So we've got from years 40 and 9. So the main message that we can take any rubbish that we've got, that we take it home, that we don't just litter it in the streets. Just to signpost, Katie also just added a little bit of a response to that bird question. She said another reason not to feed the ducks, especially feeding them bread, is because they can't digest the bread properly, and it basically gives them a really bad stomachache. So thank you for that, Katie. Unfortunately, time it's already 10 o'clock, so we'll have to leave it there. However, any of the questions that have not been answered, what our panelists and our speakers, they're very kindly, I'm going to forward them these questions and they will answer them. And as soon as I get the answers, I will then email them out to your teachers for you to read. I just want to take this opportunity just to thank, first of all, our speakers for their time, for volunteering their time today to be able to talk to all of our students. Thank you, of course, to our staff, to our students for listening and for the fantastic questions. And I really hope that you enjoy the rest of your Earth Day today. And look forward to seeing some of you later on in the Litter Pick in Small Heath Park. And the sun's just come out as well. So it's all positive. Thank you so much, everyone. And look forward to having another similar assembly like this in the near future. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
Glasses in. Cameras so we can see.
Bye.
So can see.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
See you guys soon.
Thank you, all the messages. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Yeah, great.
Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Barry, Elaine, everybody for the name recognition.
Thank you to all.
Thank you, guys. Mohammed, this brilliant worked amazing. Like normally when you've got loads of kids, it's normally like chaos, but this was fantastic. Well done.
Thank you so much. No, thank you so much. I apologize. I'm going to have to dash off now because I need to have up with the Litter Pick. But I'll see you guys soon. Darren, would you be able to somehow send me the recording?
I'm not sure how, or when. I'm sure I'll investigate.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Take some pictures while you're out litter picking, Mohammed. I'd like to see pictures of
definitely.
what you get up to in the next hour.
With us, with photos and everything, and I will give you a full update of how the day goes. So absolutely. Thank you very much. Take care.
Great stuff.
Have fun.
Cheerio.
Bye.
Take care.